Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Budget Save Share. In case you missed the first video, my name is Angie. I'm a wife and mom of two, and I'm also a teacher. And so let's get into our debt story today. So my husband and I have been married for 19 years. We're not new to budgeting. We have always lived on a budget. We learned some lessons early on, some hard lessons about money, because we didn't know anything. About 11 years ago, we had just moved to the city where I work to cut down on the expenses that we had for me commuting back and forth. And so we were living paycheck to paycheck. However, we had enough for our expenses and to do some of the things that we wanted to do, so we were happy. We didn't have anything saved up because we used everything we had on the move. And so you can see where this is going already. So about a year after moving to our new location, my husband became very ill and he ended up in the hospital for almost 2 months. Doctors told us that with medicine, he was going to be fine and he needed to be off work for some time, but it was going to be temporary. Unfortunately, they were wrong and he never went back to work after that hospital stay. We went from having 2 salaries down to 1. And so we had a really tough time for those first few years after after his diagnosis. And so we moved out of our place. We moved into something smaller, made a lot of concessions, but we kept telling ourselves this was temporary and we can do this. Everything's going to be okay. He'll eventually be back to work and we'll be fine. Well, again, it was not temporary. He didn't go back to work. We struggled and we struggled some more. But slowly, we dug ourselves out of that hole that we were in and we paid off all of that debt. So we were really proud of ourselves and we had gotten to a point where we were doing well and we were in the green again and we had started saving money and we were really just doing great. Then we decided after 8 years, it's time to move out of that place and go ahead and move into something bigger because our kids were getting older. We hadn't selected anything yet because the city where we live was kind of expensive. We really wanted to have us a nice chunk of money saved up so that we were prepared for that move. Then we fast forward to about 4 years ago. So instead of getting to make that move like we wanted, unfortunately, our property went under new ownership. And so we got a notice saying that we would not have our lease renewed for that year and that we needed to be out in 30 days. So that was shocking. And even though we had saved some money, we were worried because, again, it's not cheap where we live. And my husband, unfortunately, had another health scare. We were going back and forth to another city in another state for his doctor visits. So we were a little stressed there and we didn't have much time to figure out what we were going to do. However, we did. We moved into a place that was really nice and we could afford it. However, it was double what we were paying at our previous place for the new one. Shortly after that, my husband went into the hospital for about 5 months and he was in really rough shape, you all, and we almost lost him. So because I was traveling from state to state and we really put some miles on the car, needless to say, we spent a lot of money. We had just spent a lot of money moving to the new place. We basically were living out of boxes in the car because we were back and forth for each procedure that had to be done. Yeah, I guess we were just in survival mode. And so then, because we were struggling and we were spending so much money, we eventually had spent most of what we had. And so then we started using credit and other things to help us as we were dealing with what we were going through with him. So, to make a long story short, all of that for these last few years just kind of caught up with us. And so now we have all this new debt, new credit card debt, loans that we didn't have before because one of our family members sold us a lemon. And so then we ended up having to get a loan for another car because we had to have transportation since his doctor, his medical team is in another state. We made a lot of decisions that we most certainly regret now looking back because we were just trying to get through what we were getting through. So that's where we are. And so now this year we're trying to start over and just get rid of this debt. He's doing a lot better. We just want to build up our savings and get back to where we were just a few years ago so we can get to that debt free. So, some motivation for today: financial freedom is not just a dream, it will be my reality. All right. So that's our story. Thanks for tuning in. If you stayed for the whole time, I'd love to hear your story. And I'll see you next time. Bye.